Hi, hello. Welcome back. Mood Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Terrific Tuesday is here. Best day of the work week is gone. So what can you say? And Brandon Como's back from one of his mini vacations. It's not a mini vacation, from his mini, M-A-N-Y.
You said Monday's the best day of the work week. It is when you off.
And you got paid last Wednesday.
Yep.
Boy, I tell you what, it must be nice to be Brandon Como. And no, I did not give him a pay raise.
It's not bad.
I might give him a Christmas bonus. I want to give him a Christmas bonus. Brush your teeth before you come to work. That's your bonus. If you do that, I think you'll be happy. Anyway, great to have you with us. Brandon is back in the house. I don't know if he's here tomorrow or not, but he'll tell me when the show's over.
Yes, I'm here tomorrow.
By the way, you can check us out on Facebook as well, live. We're streaming live, and you can see the little bit more gray hair if you knew me from way back. And
I feel like you get a chance.
And by the way, people are calling and or texting and email going, man, you talk with your hands like that? I'll tell you what, tie them down and see what happens.
Yeah.
You think a nutting up is something that I made up, and it is, but you can see it happen.
I feel like Facebook Live is the early Christmas present for me because I like just go and read the comments.
All right, anyway, great to have y'all with us. 844-766-6607, Hickson has it hotline. By the way, good news out there for Angel. Big heap good news. And I just start with break off with that story today. Homes bought out in Bayou Corn sinkhole disaster provide place for tornado victims. So, see, we got a happy ending, although hundreds of people lost their homes. I should have brought that up. That's what Vitter brought up. You remember when crybaby Angel cried about how David Vitter had all the money and was beating him? Beat me up. You ever see that on Facebook? I'm kind of funny when you see me cry like that. Yeah, but this is who they beat him up. And, of course, he's running now with all the name recognition and all the money. And what does he do? He continues to beat up on Higgins. It's sad to watch. If he's so good, he's so great. Why does he have to go that low? But he has to. One other thing, I got to keep bringing this up because I didn't watch a whole lot of TV last night. But every time I think or say about this commercial, it's got to be told, and I may put it up, Brandon, on a YouTube or on my Facebook, explaining the one thing that you need to know. I had a person in the Crybaby Angel campaign tell me when they said this thing about Higgins and child support. This was was pretty close to what he told me. He said, this is something Higgins can't explain away in 30 to 60 seconds. So they knew, because they set it up, they would run with something they set up. That's what frustrates me about this. It really does. Number one is Crybaby Angel cried about David Vitter pounding him. And the reason I'm bringing this up is not because of Crybaby Angel. It's really Crybaby people that were voting for him that emailed me and Facebooked me and told me what to do with my head, used the F-bomb ridiculously against me, because they blame Vitter for starting all this. And then I look up in the runoff of this race, and what's happening is the exact opposite of what they complained and cried about and told me what to do with my head, using F words that I can't say on this air. And I took my licks and took it like a man. I just sat here and took it. I just laughed it off. But now I look up, and the same people out there, still supporting him, but he can do it, but Vitter couldn't. So that disturbed me. And then the second thing disturbs me is by one of the insiders of Angel saying, well, Higgins can't explain this off. And I want to explain this one time because everybody needs to know it. I may put it on a Facebook so people could just go listen to it. But it's real simple. His ex-wife filed for back child support. All three of his kids are 18 and in their 20s. Had two of them there with him on election night, by the way. And then she files for back payment on child support when he's in the runoff. And it was all set up, premeditated, pre-done, because the guy that told me this and he's in the Angel campaign, made the comment, we will use this again. And that's what they've been using. But how was that generated? 2005, she never filed. 2006, 2007, 2008, never filed. 2009, never filed. 2010, never filed. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Kids already 18 and older. Never filed, but Higgins makes the runoff, and here comes the good old boy network system. And they put that out there and run it as a TV ad. And here's the kicker. Stormy doesn't even live in the state anymore. I'd like to ask her what she paid. I don't know if she was. Like, great question, by the way. And then, number two, why would you file after the kids are gone and everybody's 18 and above? And then why would you file after the guy gets in a runoff? And this is what Angel's basing his whole campaign on. Slamming and ripping. That's Timmy Teeple, Bobby Jindal's guy. And here's all the connections. She worked for Bobby Jindal. Timmy Teeple, Bobby Jindal's right-hand guy running Scott Angel's campaign. Angel was put on staff by Bobby Jindal, and Faircloth was the lawyer for Bobby Jindal. Put it together. They had a design. They would do this from day one because they know he's in trouble because he's a Hillary candidate. And that's what happened. So when you see this commercial, some of you people may say, well, I don't know about it. And Jim Beam's already bought it, but Jim Beam's such a liberal. He ought to be writing in Cuba. He told everybody to vote for Jay Darty. Tell everybody to vote for Angel. It's just sick. It's sick to watch the people not pay attention to this stuff. I'm paying attention to it. And I'm telling you what happened. And the guy told me before they ran the spot what they were going to do. Just in case you Angel people know you got a thug in your campaign. I'll put the rest of the stuff together, but that's what's happened. And that's really that simple. So why wait? Because politics. Because this good old boy network in this state is still here. It still dominates unless the people decide to go vote and get rid of it. So you cry about ads being run against you on this Bayou Corn Cinco disaster, which it was, that Angel ran from, that David Vitter brought out, that people are upset about. He picked on me, and that's what his people told me, and I had to learn I've heard the F word many times in my life, but not what to do with my head as many times, because they couldn't handle it. So all of a sudden they had a story. They take a story. They got to have a story because you can't. What is Scott running on? Is he running on his 30-year career in politics? What has he accomplished? This reminds me a lot of Timmy Teeple running Neil Raza. Burn down the candidate, ends up burning down both candidates. So, look, I voted yesterday. I went and voted. I'm not saying that voter turnout's going to be different, but when I voted the last time in November, it took me an hour to vote. Yesterday, I was in line with 3 people. Me, myself, and I. That's right. 3 of us voted. Me, myself, and I. I was the only one in the line. Walked up, joked with the lady, signed, walked over there, punched the card, two votes, boom, boom, voted, and walked out. So that's got the energy on them people. They're nervous. They're racked, man. They're racked. We got to find a way to bring a man down. We cannot build ourselves up because we have nothing to build it up on. That's why I can't broke the story, Scott. Congratulations. Home bought out, and Bayou Cinco disaster provides place for tornado victims. It didn't help the people who were living there. But we're going to get some use out of it. I just, people, you got to be realistic. Good old boy network politics, if we don't destroy it, it's going to eat us up because that's what's eat us up in Louisiana for so long, and the country for that matter. Those are the 2 things that just stick out. They stick out. The Wizard of Oz candidate, the curtain's been pulled back, and they don't know what to do. So what you do is, I think it's sad. You got to bring somebody else down to make you look better. That's pretty sad in life that I got to go through as an elected official. That's all I've ever done. And the way for me to win is I got to rip somebody down who can't explain something in a 30 or 60-second ad as it was told to me. That's right. In the Angel campaign, I was told that. 30-second and 60-second ad. They can't explain that, and that's what we're gonna win this campaign on. Not on what I'm capable of doing or my past or what I've done. And it gets down. It always does in Louisiana. You like to vote for somebody, or you end up voting against somebody. And the Trump people would go out and take care of business. It'd be an interesting conclusion to this election season. Which, by the way, folks, I now see why closed primaries are probably a good thing, Brandon, because all this would be over. It's over in every state. Yesterday, Brandon, I know you're surprised by this, but we had a Senator Wicker, United States Senator from Mississippi. He called and he was supporting John Kennedy. There's apparently a fundraiser. Pence is coming in this Saturday in New Orleans, so kind of a rally to vote type deal. And he was on yesterday, and we had a chance to talk about different subjects. But It's amazing. The people that want to vote Republican, some are Democrats, some are independent, some are Republicans. You know, in this race in 3rd Congressional District, you kind of get food because you can go in and see 2 Republicans on the ballot, but one of them has been a liberal Democrat for so long. And even voted in the Obama-Hillary. See, Higgins has not said one bad thing about Agel that I know of. Not one thing. So why is he bombing somebody he ought to just wipe the map with? This ought to be an easy election, you know? Cried about David Vitter pounding him, turned around, did the exact same thing, and the people, by the way, I ain't got the F-bombs yet. Maybe they're coming. By the way, check us out on Facebook, too, Moon Griffon. You can streamline it. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Your comments are welcome. A lot to cover here. Wisconsin, inside the recount. You're going to love this. The guy that, by the way, Brandon, they called for gun control after the Ohio State. What happened in Ohio State yesterday was no guns involved. Democrats calling for gun control. They ought to call for car control and machete control. We'll take a break. Be right back. Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, it's your opportunity to be a voice. Let me turn this on. People want to check us out live, streamlining, Facebook, Moon Griffon. You can check us out. And I know KPL as well. Brandon's going. Brandon, I ought to put the screen on you. Just turn the camera around.
We've
they can look
had
at
a few
you.
Requests.
Well, then turn the screen around. Let them look at you. You can smile and wave to them. Just don't pick your nose. All righty. And don't forget, we got Cane River Pecan giveaway. Email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Say you want to win. And leave me your address. We'll pick another winner today. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Hey, folks, what about, there's been debates here in Louisiana about young college minds being able to carry guns on campus. By the way, there's pros and cons on both. What do you think about that? Do you think it would stop some of this? I know what people are thinking. Some people are thinking, man, college kids, they make quick decisions, bad decisions, alcohol, drugs involved. We can't have. Well, you got that in the real world. You got that every day. Get out of college campuses, you got that every day. That's the real world. We got people, young people on drugs, and you got that outside the college campus every day. Besides, they'd have to go through some testing, and drug testing should be one of them, to make sure and look at their background checks and everything. You go through all that, and somebody could carry on a campus. I'm not saying let everybody can't carry, but if somebody is a legal citizen and prove themselves worthy, would it be so bad to have guns on campus? Now, I see the negative side. I do. I think we're is it an infringement on the Second Amendment? Would you have any more school shootings if somebody out there knows if they nut up, they could be gone in a second? Should it be that we allow? You see, the problem on campus, you got all these little liberal weenie faculty people, and they don't want to touch a gun. They don't even want any guns at all. They want to run from it. That may be the problem. So you got students, you got people that really would like this to happen. There have been gun bills right here in the legislature in Louisiana that have come forward. And actually, Brandon, I'm not sure some of them didn't pass and the governor vetoed it one time. That said, hey, people ought to be able to carry guns. Now, I got to tell you, Brandon, when we were in school, I'll say this, I had a gun. Absolutely, I had a gun. And I knew how to use the gun. And nobody ever knew I had the gun. Now, everybody knows. My roommate didn't know. I was in a room with a lawyer. He never knew I had it. Because my daddy taught me, you don't tell anybody. This is to protect you. This is to protect you. And especially when I get in the car driving back and forth from Monroe to Plaquemine, Plaquemine to Monroe, it was to protect me. That was it. So nobody ever knew about the gun, so nobody ever looked for the gun. Nobody ever broke in the car to look for a gun. Now, I know some people will talk, you ought to see my gun, you're comparing guns, but I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm asking you, would it stop some of the ignorant shootings? Remember, most of these shootings that are taking place, we had one right here, God forbid ever happens again, in the movie theater. And these people like this coward, this terrorist act that was just committed, he knew he could drive a car and get away with it. He knew he could jump out with a knife because the chance of somebody having something to defend him was slim and none. But there was a policeman around the corner, and that policeman, boom, and did his job and laid him out And we'll never see him again. Thank God. So is this something we should consider? I'm just asking, is this something to consider? I mean, it's been considered. Brandon, I'm not sure. Texas, there's been a state that has approved this. And I don't remember the state, and Brandon, maybe you can Google carry guns or whatever on your campuses. Because if somebody approved it, and it's been approved a while, and people are doing it, I ain't heard of any incident of anybody being shot. Everybody's worried about the gunfight at the OK Corral, but at a gunfight at the OK Corral, you want to have a chance to move. We said this in elementary schools and high schools. Maybe not the students carrying the guns, but the teachers, and you got coaches, and I'm not just saying men, women can handle it too. And nobody tells anybody, and they trained, and all of a sudden you don't have the school shootings because they don't know what teacher might pop them back. And it may make a big difference. And so I don't think this is dangerous. I think this is needed. And if it's teachers or professors or something on campus to slow this down. All right, Brandon.
All right, so your instincts were obviously right on Texas. Because of recent state legislation and court rulings, 8 states now have provisions allowing the carrying of concealed weapons on public post-secondary campuses. That's Colorado, Idaho, Kansas, Mississippi, Oregon, Texas, Utah, and Wisconsin.
By the way, I'm laughing. I forgot I was on TV, so I took a sip of drink, and it went all down my shirt. I'm trying to wipe it off. If anybody's watching, they go, oh, my God. If anybody don't respond on Facebook, you saw me do it. Look at my shirt. I just washed this shirt month before last. So Brandon,
I'm watching it live right now.
It just happened. So you can miss some entertainment, folks, if you're not watching it on live Facebook. I just did it, man. Look, all over my. I'm going to wash this shirt again in another month or two. It's going to need it. So, Brandon, they've had it. Do you remember how long has most of these laws been in place, did they say?
I mean, I hadn't seen all that. It's just recent.
Well, the thing about it is, though, have we seen any school massive shootings by these people who are carrying guns? And the answer is no. By the way, and we need to research it more. I wonder if there's some rules on how can you can carry a gun. You got to go, do some testing and stuff like that. I just wonder if this.
Well, what happened was in 2007, you had the shooting at Virginia Tech. So since then, you've had a lot of, bills get, brought forth.
Sure.
In 2013 alone, at least 19 states introduced legislation to allow concealed carry on campus.
But does it say they passed?
Well, no, I mean, it hasn't passed in 19 states, obviously. But
yeah, because we had it here. This is one of the states that were trying to pass it at one time. So I'm just trying to figure out a way, because now that we got terrorists on campus, we need to do something about the terrorists. If the guy would have jumped out of the car after running into people to cut people up, and somebody was sitting there with a gun, he would have got cut up and sliced down to nothing, just like he is now.
Now, I guess, unless you want me to, I could run down the 23 states, but 23 other states, besides the ones we mentioned, they allow, the decision to ban or allow concealed carry weapons on campus to be made by each college or university individually.
By the way, I took a sip of drink, and you can look at it and smile because I didn't spill it. All right, well, you're making my point. All right, let's go to phone lines. Buck in Lafayette. Buck, how you doing, sir?
Good, Moon. How are you?
Doing fine, sir.
I think that there should be no such thing as a gun-free zone, especially these young people on these college campuses should be young adults. And the Second Amendment is your right to bear arms and defend yourself. So
should we have car-free zones and knife-free zones? It looks like we need that as well.
Well, it's not the gun, the gun being there that's the problem. It's the intent of what you're going to do with it. And all the school shootings in the college level, no gun-free zone sign or anything outlawing that gun prevented those people from committing that crime. Yeah. And as we see, if he couldn't use a gun, he'd use a car and use a knife.
No, they're using.
Yeah, use the butcher knife in this case.
Yeah, in our normal society here, we can walk around open carry in the state. You can get a concealed carry license. Of course, it has restrictions. But to say that it's the access or having a gun on your person makes it more liable for you to use that gun or to have more gun violence. You look at Chicago versus Lafayette at the gun, statistics.
Yeah.
And you see the difference.
I just wonder, any law enforcement out there's got a feeling on this. I'm just kind of curious what they would think because they have to deal with this. They're the ones who have to deal with this on a daily basis. I know this. Most law enforcement people believe in carrying guns and protecting yourself. I don't know about the college campus stuff, but I know they believe in what I'm telling you. And, Brandon, I'll take a couple of them grapes. All right. Go ahead, Buck. Last comment.
If there's concealed carry and they don't know it's there and the student's not brandishing it, then it shouldn't be a problem. And if somebody's on campus wanting to do harm and then the gun comes out and takes them down, that's what the Second Amendment's all about.
All right, brother. Thanks for the call. All right. Let's take the other one real quick. Tom on the road. How you doing, Tom?
How you doing?
Doing fine.
Just a comment on the gun. The criminals, they conceal carry. You're not going to see their guns. But my call was for the American flag. Our soldiers fight for that flag all the time. We have people die and shed blood for that flag. I think that our flags that we've had since the founding of the country, like the Confederate flag, whether you do or not, the Confederate flag wasn't no slavery flag. It was more or less what we got going on in Baton Rouge right now, taxation without representation, and we can fix it to get taxed pretty good again, it looks like. But anyway, those flags are part of our history, our state flags and all those. I think we already introduced a bill to where that if you desecrate that flag, it's a terrorist act, automatic deportation. Don't put them in jail because
by the way, Trump says people who want to burn the U.S. flag to be jailed or deported. So he's saying exactly what you're saying about people that are not citizens. If you're not a citizen and you're burning flag, you're out of here. Anyway, got to run. Got to run, brother, only because of time. We got to go 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Take a break. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. By the way, tomorrow at Hickson Autoplex in Alexandria, Louisiana, our monthly visit with Dallas Hickson and the game at Hickson Autoplex. By the way, Landrew. Now, he is the mayor of New Orleans where they had a big shooting this weekend. Landrew says the violence continue to spin out of control. Well, Mitch, what you doing about it? But, you ever seen what Mitch Landrew reminds me of? Y'all saw the commercial where they talking about Brandon. You got to remember, the policeman's sitting there and they come in with an armed robbery. Everybody hits the ground and it's a policeman. And the lady looks at him and says, would you do something about it? And he goes, well, I'm just a monitor. I just tell you when we're being robbed. And we're being robbed.
I heard that commercial for the first time this morning.
Oh no, but when I saw that, then they got one with the dentist says, oh yeah, you got cavities. What you gonna do about it? I don't do nothing about it. I just let you know about it. That's what Mitch Landrieu is knowing about it, folks. He can do something about it, but he's acting like a monitor. Well, this violence is out of control. Mitch, do something about it. Well, I'm just here to tell y'all it's out of control because you do realize Mitch has been the mayor for a while there. For the second time in 2.5 years, bullets have been sprayed on a packed Bourbon Street, leaving victims lying on the ground. Mitch says this is an unacceptable set of circumstances, especially on a night like this. The violence just continues to spin out of control with people brandishing weapons whenever they think they can. Well, Mitch, what are you doing about it? We know there's a problem. The press is monitoring it. They're letting us know about it. But Mitch Landrieu has never done anything about it. The Landrieux have never done anything about it. The only thing I can tell you about New Orleans, and I know there's some good people there, is that the Landrieux know how to get people out to go vote with buses. Other than that, they really don't care about New Orleans. And Hurricane Katrina came in, the buses didn't work. But that would have been election day. There would have been nobody got hurt or killed in New Orleans because those buses would have been running, getting people out of there. So Mitch Landrieu is like the monitor. Hey, it's spinning out of control. Because, Mitch can't do anything about it. It's amazing to watch. So we got these shootings going on down there. Matter of fact, they interviewed one. By the way, this is out of the NOLA paper. I'm not picking on New Orleans. Brandon, they said that the guy that got shot said, I'm never coming back here again. I read about this. I kept coming, and you can forget it. I'm never coming back. He laid up in a hospital with a gunshot wound. All right, folks. I did have a couple of people from police officers and stuff that said they believe you ought to carry guns anywhere to protect yourself. I told you I was on a campus. I mean, I've been out of school since 83, 33 years out of college. I got to go back a few years, but my daddy wanted me to protect myself. I never had to use it. Nobody to this day ever knew I had a gun. Randy was a little small 38. Had, I think, 5 bullets. I had 6. I think it was 5. No snub nose. All it was to protect, get somebody away from me. It was never did I tell my roommate. Never did I tell anybody on that campus. Just like my dad, to this day, keeps a gun when he goes to bed at night, right by his head. He opens it up. It's loaded. We were little bitty kids and we knew that gun was there. You know why? We respected the gun. He taught us properly. And he told me if we even tell somebody about that gun, I mean, there was going to be some discipline. And your rear end was going to be red. You was going to have the red boop. And we never did. We respected my dad, first of all, my mom, and then we respected what a gun is. That's 99.9% of the people now with guns. There's gun control. If you notice, Democrats want to control your life. Health care. How many times you flush the toilet? I mean, everything is controlled by them. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Sydney in Lake Charles. How you doing, Sydney?
Bro Moon, I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing fine. Good to hear from you, sir.
Okay, man. I listen to you all the time, and every time I hear this rebel flag and American flag controversy come up, I have to chime in. I have to let you great listeners know that as an African American, that flag, that rebel flag, if it represents heritage and a wonderful past and history to you, then that's fine. Then there's a place for it at your homes and at your parties and at your get together in the woods, whatever you do. But at a state house, at a public office, it's offensive to me because it clearly stands to me, to my history. That was the flag held up and said, we're going to keep these slaves. And they were carrying that flag. That's all we see. That's what it represents.
Let me ask you a question. Would you answer this for me? That's fine. You got your opinion, and I have no problem with your opinion. You a big Saints fan?
Absolutely.
The fleur-de-lis. You know what that represents? That's what they used to put on slaves that ran away. Now look, I want you to be consistent with me. Listen. No. You brought it up. I didn't. Be consistent with me. That is a fact, what I just told you. They had branded on a slave because that means I was a troubled slave. Why are you pulling for the Saints? Why aren't you dying to get rid of that? I'm asking to be consistent here, Sidney, because if you want to talk about these flags, what about the Florida-Lis? I mean, that's the Saints. Shouldn't we be protesting the Saints?
Moon.
I'm asking.
That's why I love you. That's why I love your show, buddy. That is the very first time I've ever heard that, and I'm going to do something about it.
No. So what you need to do is go look it up, pull it up. It's there. All the history's there, my friend. I tell you what, Sidney, when you go back and find it, call the program again and tell me what you think of that symbol.
Yeah,
I think we get too caught up in symbols than reality. And the reality is America's a great place for everybody. There was no doubt we went through some hell of a times back then. And there are a lot of people that didn't do right, and you're right about that. But I want you to go pull that symbol up, do a little work for me, and then come back and call me. I got to go. Thanks for the call. You're listening. Oh, by the way, you hadn't heard that either? Pull it up and look at it, folks. You'd be shocked. We got to go. Listen to me. First time I bet I was sing on camera. Let it be.
No, it's the second time.
Let it be. Hey, got a little Elvis with me. Hey.
It's the second time, unfortunately. First time Let It Be was the one that was sung, though.
Okay, well, it was the first time I've been on camera singing. Now people can actually comment on me singing on camera now, see? So it makes it easy for them. Facebook, Moon Griffon, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Once again, by the way, I don't really want to get into this flag stuff. I want to get into guns on campus. Should that be happening? By the way, New York Times, Tom Price, Trump's choice as Secretary of Health and Human Services. I thought it was going to be Bobby Jindal. Boy, was I shocked. No Bobby Jindal. Timmy Tebow's not ruining somebody's lives in Washington like he's doing in Louisiana. Reported Georgia Rep. Tom Price, President-elect Donald Trump's choice to lead the... by the way, a physician who leads the House Budget Committee, he served on Congress since 2005. He led efforts to strike broad sections of the Affordable Care Act could be key in Trump's effort to get major parts of it repealed and replaced. Need to be shot dead, jumped on, stuffed, thrown away, burned, and sunk to the bottom of the ocean. That's what happened with Obamacare. What a horrible thing to do to people. Horrible. Let's go to Mike in Baldwin, Louisiana. Mike, how you doing?
Doing well, Moon. How you doing?
Doing fine, sir.
Hey, I just wanted to comment about guns on campus.
Yeah.
I just want to preface it real quick. I'm a combat veteran.
Yes, sir.
I am a carrier. I'm a Second Amendment guy. I love all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
I ran into a situation myself when I was going to state school, and I told in a conversation with the school, with the university president, I said, hey, man, I carry with me in school, and his eyes got kind of big, and he said, look, I know you're trained, I know you're whatever. He said, but could you put yourself in the shoes of my campus police officers? He said, if there's a gunman on campus, he says, look, we're honored to have you, but what if we have 5 or 6 of you guys run out there, and my officers come out? He goes, and everybody's got guns drawn. He said, you're putting my officers in a position that, that they don't want to be in or they shouldn't be in. And so my comment was that I'm not against guns on campus or anything like that, but I think there should be some kind of policies for safety or some kind of policies that say, hey, look, if you want to apply for a permit here on this campus, then you better be trained and you better understand that, look, you're not the hero of the day. If you need to lock down and protect the classroom or whatever the case is, then stay there. But I would hate to put a police officer, in jeopardy by going out there and trying to play hero. Even if I am trained, and even if I am proficient at what I am, I don't want to put somebody else in that situation. And I don't want to get shot myself by somebody that's like, I don't know who you are. Everybody's got guns drawn.
Yeah, but this is the one thing about it. And by the way, I appreciate you calling because once again, I told you there's two sides to this. I can understand what the gentleman's telling you, but how many cops are really on the campus? I mean, Ohio State has 60,000 students. So here's what I'd ask the professor. Let's say that the college president was that president, and he says, "Oh, we got 20 campus cops and 60,000 students." I mean, something goes bad, you can't hardly get to them quick enough. My big thing is, what's the right answer? Because you're a trained guy. But let me ask you a question. That's why I said, okay, so you go through the college campus and the president of the university. And let's say you on Ohio State's university campus, you won a 2,000 carry permits. That means you legally can carry. And they got your cell number, they got everything they need on you. They have your schedule and what classes you're in. You're all on the same list when it comes to something going on. Hey, we're building so-and-so. I mean, see what I'm saying? There's got to be a way with technology that you can be informed and everybody else can. Maybe it's a matter of carrying a hat around that when something breaks, you put it on. And you one of the guys that, could. I don't know, but I know this. If you're on a campus with 60,000 and it's 20 policemen, and maybe it's 1,000, I don't know, but it's 20 policemen, and they're not around, they can't help you. And that's the argument with some of the policemen that we've talked to just this morning off the air that said, they would rather us be protected. But I understand what the guy's telling you.
Yeah,
the president. I do understand it.
I think that he was being precautious in what he says. And he was, again, this is not a local campus, this is another state college. And
sure.
He was pro-veteran and everything, but he said, look, I don't want to put you at risk. I don't want to put my police officer at risk. He said, but he never told me no. And when it comes to life preservation, I'm going to always defend myself. But if I'm in a campus, if I'm around police officers or whatever, do I need to intervene? And I think that's what some callers I think were alluding to was, hey, if there were more guns, then there'd be less crime. And that's not necessarily true because you need to be proficient. You need to understand the situation. You need to understand that you just can't run towards everything or, you know what I'm saying? And it's not as simple as just having people carry guns and then the whole world.
No.
That's not true.
I agree with you, but that's why I went back and said if you were one of 2,000 on campus. And
I'm going to protect myself.
Yeah, and you were one of 2,000 on campus. And the president knows who they are, and the policeman knows who they are, and it was a way to signal everybody, hey, in building 22A on the east side of the campus, there's a shooting going on.
Well,
if you're on the opposite side of the campus, you make it ease that way. But we're not asking you to go over there and start pulling guns. But on that side of the campus, we're documenting this 213 people there that could help us here. We need to let them know. I just think there's a way to do it, and a way to do it safe. But here's the funny thing, a bad thing about it, Mike. It's not going to be a perfect system. We don't have a perfect system the way it is now. We got a guy driving on the campus, a terrorist, and he gets out and starts slicing people up. So it's not. Hey, let's what we got now is not working. So why not try something a little bit more energetic with other people's help, like yourself, who's been in the military, a policeman or whatever, and you are trained, and they know you're trained, and they can count on you. You know what?
I agree with.
You may run over there. You're close to the building, and people are running. You say, "Hey, right here, come lay down right here," and you helping people. You don't do anything more than that. But if a guy comes out shooting and you can take him down, you got to take him down. This is serious stuff we're talking about here.
Absolutely. I think having no policy in place is just as bad as having an overly strict policy where we say, "Hey, we're banning all guns." Well, that's moronic. Well, if you have zero policies, just like you suggested, I think that's a fantastic idea, because that still puts people in a responsible frame of mind. That if you're that responsible gun owner, if you're that guy or whatever, and you're on the other side of campus, and they say, "Hey, look, you're nowhere near it," then flee the scene. Then guess what I'm doing? I'm fleeing the scene. Or if it's local and you need a shelter in place, then I think they should have some kind of system that they can connect and contact you and say, "Look, this is the situation. This is where it's at," and that's a better solution than no solution. And I agree with you. We have no solution at the moment. We're just kind of we debate it amongst politicians, but they don't want to touch this issue.
Man, politicians are doing it. Let me see how I can get the people to vote for me. They're not saying, "How can I save a life?" What you're talking about, Mike, is how do we save lives? How can I save my own life? But if I see somebody 100 yards shooting somebody and I can protect them, I'm working my way that way quick as I can, telling people to get down. And if you get in line to shoot the guy because you're trained, you don't want to listen. You're trained. Didn't you you said you were in the military?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
God bless you for your service. I meant to tell you that. But listen to me. You're trained. When you get close enough, I guarantee you, and you're in the military, and I guarantee I talk to policemen, y'all don't want to shoot anybody. Your desire is not to ever shoot or kill anybody. You don't want to. But here's the good news, and that's why we appreciate guys like you. You will if you have to. You will if you need to save a life. And that means you can do the job. See, me, I never had to shoot at anybody yet. If somebody comes to my house, I'm going to learn. They're going to learn, and I'm going to learn because I got the gun to do it. I got several.
Yeah.
And I load them, and I keep them loaded. But my point being is I'm not trained for that. But if you come in my house, I think I can unload on you. In your case, with everybody running around and going crazy, it's something you used to. It's something you've seen. And it's something you can respond to. And that's all I'm saying. Well-trained people. You know yourself, with 60,000 people on a campus like Ohio State, would it be safe to say you probably have a couple thousand people there that were former military or in the military?
Right. And look, that's another way, and that's something I wanted to refer to, but back about that college. That college that I went to tried to find ways to integrate us, the veterans, into the campus and say, look, why don't you guys be the ones that start clubs or different organizations, because y'all are leaders. And they found different sections, and some of these larger colleges can engage veterans and saying, look, you're totally proficient in this. Why don't you be part of our first responder team on this campus? And I tell you what, it would probably reduce a lot of these, a lot of issues that veterans have, especially being reintegrated into society.
Good point. But just like there's young people and some people coming out of the military or maybe headed the military, they got the experience. And I guarantee you, 60,000 students at Ohio State, I got to believe there are thousands of ex-military people or current military people at that university. I don't know
even police officers that are taking courses.
Yeah, but I bet you it's 2 or 3, 4, 5%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so you've got a built-in system. It's better than what we have. And look, if some shooting takes place between people that shouldn't take place, we may have that. But that's going to be the big exception. Because if you give a gun to a responsible person that knows how to use it, I know this, they're going to be responsible for the most part. Accidents still happen, though.
Free.
Yeah, accidents still happen, Mike.
Free, Moon.
Yep.
It's a free solution.
Great call. God bless you, brother, and thank you for your service. All right, we got to take a break. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. One more segment to go. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, don't forget my good friend Stein. They've been doing Black Friday sales before it was Black Friday. Everything for your home and yard, better brands and lower prices. Gear up for hunting. They got a catalog on the website to gear up for hunting, and it's time to do it. You need to go to Stein. Great Christmas gifts right now. Of course, gift certificates are awesome. They also have their fresh cut trees. They're there. They're waiting on you to come drive in, pick them up, and take them and be gone and be done for Christmas. Restoration guidelines for flooded homes and buildings. They got that on the website. That's a neat thing to know for people that are still fighting. And by the way, a lot of people are. So major appliances, you bet, they're rocking and rolling. And everything you need is at Stein. As a matter of fact, go to Stein, make a list of what you need, and I guarantee you're going to find it at Stein. Okay? They lowered the prices on 2,758 items within the last year. So you're going to get the great deals, you're going to get the great service, and you're dealing with a company that loves Louisiana and ain't going anywhere else. Home improvement, from tubes to paint to electrical to plumbing to housewares, automotive hardware, they got it. Appliances, air control, air conditions, heaters. And by the way, a lot of people like the, Brandon, if you don't have one, a fireplace in your home. This is a great opportunity to go get one just in time for Christmas. Cooking, kitchen cleanup, laundry, refrigerators, they got it all. And building supplies, they have a drive-through building yard. They're experts in this. So why go anywhere else when you don't have to? Shop Stein for all your needs. And, hey, great Christmas gifts as well. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline if you'd like to be part of the Moon Griffon Show. Pretty interesting gentleman that just called, Brandon. And there's a way to do this and to do it right and to do it legally and to make sure that when a terrorist shows up on your campus like he did in Ohio State, that you can get to him pretty quick. I don't know the perfect way. I don't think there will be a perfect way. But what we've been doing of having no gun zones is not the perfect way. It's not the perfect way. Okay? We have no gun zones in all these places. In this case, it wasn't even guns. It was a car. I guess we wouldn't do no car zones, no knife zones. Let's see, what else can you kill? So no bottle zones, no alcoholic zones, no drug zones. Most campuses, you can't have drugs on campus. They got drugs on campus every day. It's just amazing to listen to people in the military and policemen. I understand the dilemma for university presidents. I understand the dilemma that's taking place. But what is the alternative to somebody nutting up on a university? What is the other alternative? To keep doing what we've been doing? That's not an alternative. That's what the problem's been. We've not changing anything to adapt to what's going on. And the other thing is we protect our borders. Maybe somebody like this won't get in. By the way, Hillary Clinton and them saying they're going to test Michigan now. Michigan just made the announcement on the final vote. They certified Trump as the winner. 3 weeks, the elections have been gone. The final vote has been counted. The Michigan Secretary of State and Board of Canvassers have officially concluded the tally over 10,000 votes for Donald Trump. He is the winner, and it's over. They're not going to find 10,000 votes, folks. They're not going to go find 3,000 over here that didn't vote, they didn't count. And they declared the winner. Once again, this is all about fundraising and things of this nature. Let's go to Al in Lafayette. How you doing, Big Al?
Hey, doing fine, Moon. I was calling in reference to police officers on campuses.
All right.
There's not that many armed officers on campuses.
Nope.
They are backed up by students who are going into law as officers, and all they've got is nightclubs and handcuffs.
Well, I think the average incident in a university, and by the way, I said I think, I didn't say I knew. Most of them are going to be fights and bullies and things of that nature. And if these officers are trained with a billy club, as you said, and they're pretty tough, and I've seen some of them got muscles coming out of muscles, they probably can handle a lot of that stuff. If you have to handle an incident like a gun or a knife or something like in Ohio, that kind of makes it tough.
It doesn't do very good on a gunfight, though.
No, it doesn't. But think about it every day on our campuses. We're not reading about gunshots every day. As a matter of fact, it's a non-occurrence for the most part.
Well, I came from a school that had 45,000 student body. The campus was over 5 miles across, and they only had about 6 vehicles.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there going, and I went through the riot during Kent State and all that down Southern Illinois University, and there's some problems. What they would do is they would be backed up by the state police.
Yeah.
State police would come in and help.
Well, trust me. And by the way, let me let you go because something popping in my ear. But trust me, campuses, because of what's going on, they figured out what they need to do. They just can't figure out everything because it's just no way to do that. So anyway, I'm just saying, and you know, we don't see much of this, but we do see some, and when we see it, it's a catastrophe. It's just bad because there's no protection. So I think you got to find a way to put some better protection on the campus. And by the way, Brandon, that's not just college campuses. That's at high schools and elementary schools. Remember the little kids that were, it was at Newton, Connecticut? Am I saying that right?
No, blanking on the name, but it's in Connecticut.
It's in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. And that was little bitty kids that were killed. Yeah. That's a school that I feel like that you ought to have teachers that are willing to step up and be trained. To be trained.
Sandy Hook, by the way.
Sandy
Hook.
What you're talking about. There's something right there that you can do about it immediately. Principals, assistant principals, be able to shoot a gun and be able to defend it. I guarantee you could shoot a gun at a thug and a punk and a terrorist if they're shooting little 6 and 7-year-old kids. I don't think anybody with any sense would have a problem unloading on a thug like that. You could do it. Your heart will be pounding, but you could do it. All right, let's go to Charlie in Marion, Louisiana. How you doing, Charlie?
I'm doing good, Moon. What I'm calling about is our Public Service Commissioner.
Which one?
Mr. Campbell.
Oh, Bananas Foster. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I live in Marion, and Marion and Oak Ridge are two of the little towns that started the big company CenturyLink.
Oh, I lived up in Monroe for 35 years. I'm very familiar with Marion and we said Oak Ridge. I'm familiar with both of them.
Yeah. That was the two towns that started CenturyLink.
That's correct. That's Mr. Clark Williams. God bless his soul. What a great man.
Yes, sir, he was. But I live in Marion, I actually live in Hale, about 5 miles from Spencer. Hale, Marion, and Spencer are all CenturyLink. But if I call 5 miles down the road to Spencer from my house, it's a long distance call.
Yeah.
And this is something I tried to get Foster Campbell to do something about, but he never even did. Come up with
I tell you what you do. Give him some money for his failed Senate run. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not over yet. Maybe he'll help you out. Bananas Foster. Let me tell you something. One thing I know about Bananas. Bananas is in it for himself. Bananas is in it for himself. Soon to be banana cream pie. We got to go. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.